Hey, fun story. The Carolina Panthers are favored for the first time since 2022.
Favorite for
Let's
what?
go.
Football in a football game.
Oh, my goodness.
What's up, Eddie?
They're playing the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Man, so here we are, Friday, December 13th, 2024. And for the first time since week 15 of the 2022 season, the Carolina Panthers are favored to win
Round of
the
applause.
game. Look at that.
Congratulations,
Dang.
guys.
The Panthers are favored to win. They're 3-10. They're playing the Cowboys. They're 5-8. The Panthers are a 2-point favorite at home against the Cowboys. Big steps, frontward and backward.
Yeah.
But I know you wanted to win the last game, because if you'd won the last game, you'd kind of been.
Oh, we would have been a huge favorite here.
No, you'd have been almost back in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be alive.
And I told you that. And
No,
I,
you've been anti-Cowboy.
I
Yeah.
told
It's like
you,
week
though,
4. You've
been anti-Cowboy.
mathematically, we had a chance to go in the playoffs. And now we can't because somebody decided to touch a ball that he knew he shouldn't have touched the ball.
We're not allowing you to do this. I've been fighting for the Cowboys the whole time. You quit on them weeks ago, so we're not doing that. You told us. I have said they've still been alive. They could go 9-8, still make it in. But no, we're not allowing it. You hate your own team.
I don't hate my own team.
Yeah, you're like on that show, I Hate My Own Race, when they do like MTV. And
They
it's
do
like,
that?
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
show?
Yeah, it was like a version of a show, like I Hate My Race, and they do specials on people that
Oh,
were like,
my.
Oh, my goodness.
whatever race they were, they hated their own race. That's you.
Yeah.
Your race is the Dallas Cowboys, and you've been
I
hating
mean,
them.
my race is the Dallas
I
Cowboys.
was going to
so-
say, that's pretty accurate, right?
yeah.
But the Panthers are a favorite, which is pretty crazy. I got this ball. I want to show you guys something. So this is a basketball. First, the dumbest thing, and kind of cool. So Tiffany and Company, you know when you go to the mall, the expensive jewelry store?
Yes.
It's all, I guess it's not just at the mall. I guess they have
They
real.
make basketballs now, too, I guess.
They make like really expensive other things. And you could Google some of them. Who knew they made basketballs? But I looked it up. Kevin, tell us how much a Tiffany, it's Tiffany blue, like the color of their logo. And I've ever only seen Tiffany's at the mall, maybe a big one, but it's actually a really big, nice jewelry store. I think that stands alone in major cities.
Like in New York.
Yeah, but why would I don't know. I can see it at the mall. A Tiffany basketball, and it says Tiffany & Co. New York since 1837. It's the color of their logo. That
Teal.
yeah, good. I'm not good with colors.
Yeah, I got you.
A Tiffany basketball by itself goes for.
I see on eBay $300.
Go now look for a new one. That's way too cheap. And that's
Well-
probably auction.
Yeah, they're everywhere. $975.
That's about what it is.
Yeah.
So this is just the basketball.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like a flex to have one. So it's like, I got my Tiffany basketball, paid $1,000 for it. Dumbest thing. You should never pay for a Tiffany basketball.
But if you show up to the park with that thing,
Oh,
like
my,
respect.
pretty
No respect. The opposite. What are you
Yeah.
trying to flex? So I saw this, and at times you can get lucky on these auction sites that I'm on because people will list them, and the auction turns off at 2 a.m. or 3:30 in the morning, and it happened to be up. They don't time out the auction right, so nobody's bidding on it because nobody's awake. So I see a Tiffany basketball, and that alone does not make me go, I'd like to have it. But then on the other side, it's 2 autographs on the Tiffany basketball.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Is it what I think it is?
I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking.
Michael Jordan, Larry
No,
Bird.
Magic Johnson. So you made it worse. But yes.
No, I saw MJ.
It's Michael. It's Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
I mean, those are the rivals.
Because Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. They Celtics and Lakers, 84, 85, and 87 NBA Finals. They played against each other. So I got this ball, which the
Pretty cool.
stupid ball is like $1,000, just to get this ball signed by either one of them, $500, $600, $700. But I got this whole thing for like $400
Wow.
because it went off at 2 a.m. So I have a stand for it. I'm going to keep it on my desk. So if anybody ever sees like, wow, Bobby's really buying 5,000, because I could probably sell this for a few $1,000 now. I'm not going to, but they're like, Bobby's really living it up.
Let me help you with
I'm
that.
just gonna sit down.
Yeah, I see a few of those on here, too.
Look at that.
They're like, man, he's really, don't tell him. Just tell him, yeah, he's really living it up. He probably paid 10 grand for that. Say that. Pretty cool, huh?
That's really cool.
Pretty cool, yeah.
I need to put it on camera, but got that. Brought that in
Oh, you want me to put it in the front? I'll put it in the front so it's on camera.
for now. Well, I don't want my Arkansas ball. But if you put it next to it, it's gonna look all off. I can't have
Yeah,
a Whopper jar.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Nah, I like my Nolan Richardson ball up front, but we'll keep it up here.
Yeah. There's
that. We're going to talk to the Arizona State head football coach, Kenny Dillingham, in just a second. Which, by the way, I think he's 30.
4.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I just don't understand.
Dillingham.
Like, how do you?
Well, his story, too, he hurt himself playing high school football, then started coaching on the high school team, then went to college and started, volunteer GAing at the college. So he started way, way young.
Yeah.
Like he started young, eventually worked his way all the way up. Was Memphis offensive coordinator at Oregon under Dan Lanning. Took the job. Arizona
I would just
State.
think unfairly everyone would see you as like, oh, he's just a young kid.
Well,
yeah, he's smart.
They
but
do.
he's-
I'm sure they did. A lot
and then,
did.
and then he just goes to that head coach position, and he's in the playoffs. Like, that's freaking awesome.
Just takes one person to believe. But again, unfortunately, he got started early, meaning at the time it was unfortunate that he had to stop playing ball.
Mm-hmm.
But he was able to use that. I would say for me, fortunately, like I started doing this when I was 17, 18 years old, much younger than other people. You know, most people don't even get started until like their early 20s, especially when it was like radio. But we were podcasting immediately. Podcasting had just started. And there would be all these articles written like, oh, Whiz Kid, I was 25, and we were crushing it in one city in Austin. But we were podcasting everything. And they're like, Whiz Kid. It wasn't that I was a Whiz Kid. I was just 25. So I was doing things I was already doing, but most people in that profession at that position, they weren't doing those things. They were 40s and 50s, so they weren't podcasting because they weren't doing that in their real life. And they were looking at it like, nope, regular radio is here to stay. Why do I care if somebody down? So I would be complimented all the time, like, man, you're so ahead of the curve. And outwardly, I was like, yeah, it's tough being a genius.
A Whiz Kid.
But inwardly, it was only that I happened to be young and was living that and would just take the things that I was living and put it into work. I was fortunate that I started very early switching out a CD on the weekends, right? And then from that, I did weekend nights in very small towns and cities. But I started so early that I was always the youngest at what I did for a long time. And a bit of this is that version of the story too, because even with his style, like it's young, he's able to communicate with the players differently. And people are like, wow, he does it. He just does it like he does in normal life. And people are going, wow, he's doing it all this new way. He's really thought it out. But I think that's just part of who he is as a person and how he interacts with people his age. So it comes across different. It hits a bit different to everybody who's used to seeing it one way. That's because most coaches are 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, we had a good time. It took a second, I think, for him to understand that
Style.
our style.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing a decent amount of press now because get it while you can get it. Everybody wants to talk to Arizona State. And I think I was like, first question I asked him was like, hey, you got a little place to eat at? It wasn't like, we never asked him about his age, and I'm sure everybody does that.
I mean, we know how old he is. Why ask him about it?
It was like when we talked to Jerry Rice's son and never asked about Jerry Rice. He had to be like, that's the first time anybody's ever did an interview and not asked about Jerry Rice.
You think that they're on edge? Like, when are they going to ask it? When are they going to? It's coming. It's coming. You know, you almost like wait for it.
Edge, no. Do they have the expectation of it? Yes. Do they know it's probably part of it? Yeah, sure. Like I know if I'm going to do an interview, and I don't mind talking about it all the time, but if it's not a country music thing, they're always going to ask about Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And I don't always want to talk about Dancing with the Stars. There are certain parts of it that are fun for me to talk about. But I know if it's like an LA thing, they're going to be like, former Dancing with the Stars champion, and they'll ask about some element of it or somebody and I just kind of get through it. Or if there's a controversy in country music, those are the ones I get a little worried about because sometimes they'll lure you in and then be like, hey, so Morgan Wallen, you know what I do now? New trick to anybody who is ever in a situation where someone's interviewing you or you. Eddie, ask me a question. Let's make up a scenario.
Yeah.
Philip Johnson. Say Philip Johnson, he rumored to have done some really bad things.
Yeah.
But only ask that question after he asked me a music question. So, right, everybody, I'm on Entertainment Tonight. I'm doing my thing. Oh, thanks for having me. What's up?
Yeah, Bones, what's your favorite song right now
on
the radio?
I like the Co-Wetzel song, High Road. It's really good. And he just played on the show. Like him and I have become, not great friends, but we're pretty good friends. Good guy, really good singer.
Jim Johnson. What was his name? I forgot his name.
I don't matter.
Yeah. Tell me about what's going on with Jim Johnson. I mean, he's gotten some trouble lately. Like, what's your whole thought about all that? Okay, so
I will just stare. I will say nothing because they can use nothing if you give them nothing, especially if they don't tell me it's happening. If I know, like, hey, we're going to ask you about this, and then I still agree to do it, I'm fine to answer whatever question you want. Or even if I have a great answer for it, but they try to sneak attack me with something so they can get a headline or a click, that is what I do.
And you just stare?
Dude, I just look at it, and I don't go, I can't hear you. Wow. I will just hold the gaze.
Do you hold without blinking? Like, do you let
No,
it be
it's not
known?
a stare out game. It's just like a...
Sorry, you must have not have heard me. I said Jim Johnson.
And
Yeah, I wonder if they'd say that. They'd say that. It looks like our signal may be off, Bobby. We can't hear what you're saying.
Bobby, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, moving on. Yeah.
Go Wetzel,
If you give them nothing, they can use nothing.
Wow.
I also don't do written interviews anymore because there's no tone, no room for nuance. They can really slice and dice it however they want. There are times I'd write things and I'd say, well, man, I said that, but I was joking. Like it's a tone, and so with him, we definitely have a style, and I think it took him a second to get our style, and then he was awesome.
Oh yeah.
But at first, I think he was like, "What the F is happening?"
He lets the guard down a little bit, and you're like, okay,
yes, the guard definitely came down. A couple other things here.
And that's when we got him with an age question. Boom. Just kidding.
You're so young.
So what's it like?
How'd you do it? So Eddie sad about the Cowboys, or is that over?
What?
The sadness?
Oh yeah, I'm not sad anymore. I mean, the game was very roller coaster ride-ish, and I couldn't believe what was happening. And then when it ended the way it did, I was like, well, that's how it ends. Like that's how the Cowboys do things.
We'll do a quick check-in. Kickoff Kevin with the Patriots.
Sure. Beautiful. We're having a great season. Drake May is the man. The only thing, and it's pretty big, is Gerard Mayo that I'm questioning. If you watch the games, you'll see there's some coaching styles you're like, dude, what are you doing? He just kind of looks lost out there, doesn't show any emotion, which is fine, but it's like you got to get in the game, and there's a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes. They look like a badly coached football team.
The no emotion thing is funny because if you're winning, the no emotion thing is awesome. You're like, nothing affects him. He's dialed in.
Yeah.
Very Belichick.
Yeah, if you're Belichick, cool.
Yeah.
But when you're losing, it's like he doesn't care. It's the same thing with a coach with a big personality. Like, you love a guy, he's all over the place when you're winning, but when you're losing, you're like, well, maybe if he was such an idiot all the time, he'd focus on football.
Mike McDaniel.
That was Rex Ryan with the Jets.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. How do you feel about the Belichick to North Carolina?
It's weird. I think everyone feels like totally random. I didn't know about the ties way back in like the 40s or something with his dad.
Assistant coach, though.
Yeah, I know.
He was
It's
the
like,
head coach.
yeah.
You
I
hear
think
about,
they kind of searched for that tie. I don't think that was one where Belichick was like, I'm really doing this for my dad.
because you know all about his dad coaching at, I believe, Navy or Army,
Yes.
one of the two. You know all about that. We've heard that for years. So to me, it's almost like he's just taking this job for something new, a new challenge for whatever reason. Then his son's in the college game now, so he's definitely going to bring his son and then maybe kind of set him up for something. So I think it's just a new challenge for him. It's kind of boring to me because it's North Carolina, which is a basketball school more than anything.
That's why it's fun. But they have $20 million to spend in NIL. This story makes me wish I had a dad. And I'm going to tell you why.
Huh.
Yeah, explain that.
It's not the only story ever that's made me feel that way, but this story makes me wish I had a dad. Because part of the deal with Belichick taking this job is after 2 years, his son is the head coach in waiting.
Yeah.
So how cool would that be if my dad was just like, he just showed up now today and he goes, hey, I'm going to take the Kent State job. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, we have no relationship, but what are you saying? He goes, I'm going to take the Kent State job, but you can be the head coach in 2 years. Let's go.
Hello, Dad.
I love you, Daddy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so his son, according to reports, is the head coach in waiting. That was one of the stipulations.
After 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The fact that Belichick had a 400-page, and I love the word manifesto because that's usually what Unabombers use, and
murderers.
400-page manifesto on how to run the program and turn it into an NFL pipeline.
400-page.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving him a bunch of money, like 20. It's like he's not getting paid. He's getting paid a lot for normal, but $10 million a year is not what you would expect Belichick to make because he's the greatest of all time NFL head coach.
Right.
But the $20 million for NIL is where it's at. He doesn't really need the money.
Imagine being like a kid's parent, like Eddie. Your kid was old enough to get recruited, and he walks in your living room. Like, how cool would that be?
Amazing. I mean, we wouldn't look at any other school.
You would.
No, I wouldn't.
You would go to where the most money was. You would. Especially if your kid is not a for sure first rounder. This is going to be, it's really cool to meet Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick's going to go after kids he thinks he can put in the NFL. There are going to be some guys in the mid. But no, you would go where the most money is.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, you have
I feel like my son would be like, I don't know who this guy is, whatever, it's fine. I would be like, Mr. Belichick, how do you like your steak?
you would love that part.
Mr. Belichick. Do you make anything of the whole like political, he hates the NFL politics now, and that's why he didn't want to go back?
Probably always hated the NFL politics.
Yeah.
But doesn't he want to go back and break Shula's record and stuff like that?
Only,
So that's
he's like a
after 2
teenage
years?
number away.
I think 14
Yeah.
games, I want to say.
Something
like that.
Whoa.
So that was what was the most surprising part to me was that
Right.
he didn't go back at because You're 2 mid-seasons away from breaking the record.
Right.
And obviously that's not the most important thing, Dan, because I think he would have got a job somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it wasn't a job he thought he could win 8 and 6 games.
But like Cincinnati might be available for him. You know what I mean? You'd think he'd be able to get the wins with Joe Burrow.
I don't
Something
think
like
Cincinnati's
that.
going to be available.
You think Zach Taylor's going to stay?
I do.
Yeah.
I think they've had a very unfortunate personnel.
They'll fire the DC. but keep
Yeah.
him? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing with Belichick too is, and on the money thing, the people that are like, man, I can't believe he's leaving our team. He must not love people. Just with Arkansas all the time. They must not love the Hog. We only want people who love the Hog. I hear you. Like, I understand what you're saying if this is 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But the culture now is you get paid. And if you're not a for sure NFL prospect, a absolutely for sure, and even the ones that are pretty sure NFL prospects, young, are not for sure NFL prospects. If you're not a for sure NFL prospect, that could be the most money you ever make in your whole life, those 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why you're not going to go to where you can make the most money you're ever going to make in your whole life and set yourself up? It would be irresponsible not to check the portal every year to see what you can get. And I hate that people are leaving, and that part is annoying as a college football fan, but the rules are the rules. And until they fix it, I would live that. This could be the most money they ever make in their entire life. And they're supposed to just like love the Hog on the helmet? No. You get $700,000 because you can go to Ole Miss and you're getting $150 at Arkansas? You're supposed to stay because you love the helmet? No.
Mm-mm.
Arkansas then needs to figure out a way, if in their opinion you're worth $700,000, to make $700,000. It's always been a business. It's a different business now. It's a bit more unregulated, but the regulations are coming. But for people that are like, this is a joke, I thought they said they loved Arkansas. They loved the Hog. Or they love being a rebel. Or they probably did that year.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they only did it because of the money, but they would be irresponsible not to go. And it'd be like if you had 1 year contracts here and you for sure could stay here. And we're like, we'd love to, you can stay here for another year. Come back. Same salary, everything. And you never went and checked anywhere else
Yeah.
to
That
go
makes
see,
sense.
am I worth more somewhere else? Now, Ed, you can't do that. You have a contract, multi-years. I have a contract, multi-years. But they don't yet in college.
And I love the bones too. I love working for the bones.
You love the bones on the helmet.
Love the
right?
bones on the helmet.
But I would absolutely understand if you, at the end of every of your 1 year contract, were like, I think I'm going to go and check out. But if you got in, you probably aren't coming back. But I would understand if you went somewhere else for more money. That's capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
So back to like the deciding whether you go to a school for more money or play for Belichick. Is there value to playing for Belichick because there will be eyeballs on you?
Yes, there's value. Yes, absolutely.
Like, say you're not $1 million prospect, but you are really, really good, and people will see you. You will be a starter, and they will see you.
Well, you're not
going to
know you're a starter, first of all. So I would remove that. Everything you're saying is true, but I would remove the you're going to be a starter, because if you're going
That's
into
never guaranteed.
if you're going to the freshman, you're probably not going to be a starter. They don't even recruit how freshmen are being recruited. The 5.4, even the 3-star guys, it's like 30% of what it used to be. They all get recruited, but the focus now is the portal. Why would you not get an older guy that's played and has been proven more so? Like the 5-star guys still go, the Underwoods that flip Michigan, he's in Michigan now from those guys still making tons of money. But you're going, well, he's got to play. You're paying a bunch of money. He's got to play. So I've seen stories of high school kids that are like, I just got moved to my 4th star and I've had like 4 schools reach out, or it's all mids.
Yeah. And you got to think the head coach isn't necessarily flying to each home anymore. It's someone else on the staff, a little lower, GA, whoever it might be, defensive guy. Instead of Belichick, now it's going to be some kid that graduated from North Carolina 2 years ago.
There is absolutely value in playing for Bill Belichick if your goal is to either A, diehard North Carolina fan, you'll make a little money because they're going to pay you a little money, or B, you really want to go to the NFL and you want to get in that system because he says something like, hey, I believe that if you're in the system for a couple to few years, I can develop you into an NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
like that.
There's value in that if that is what your ultimate goal is.
Yeah.
But also the understanding of that goal can be torn away at any time with an injury.
Yeah.
But you can, so there's value, but it's not pure value.
Got it.
Especially if you're a highly recruited kid that's going to get paid. You should also be getting paid at North Carolina. You shouldn't just go because you're being compensated in Belichickians, whatever the currency that is. But it is going to help. It's going to bring eyeballs to the program. Look at Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
It's awesome for North Carolina.
Yeah. And imagine being a GM in the NFL, calling Belichick, hey, what about this kid? What do you think? Like, they're not going to
So
trust
many
anyone
ways.
else more than that.
Yeah.
In so many ways, it's going to help. But it is not going to be the absolute main deciding factor because these kids have 4 years, possibly 5, to make the most money. Cam Rising, 12, 13 years.
Cam, I feel like I've seen. Yeah, Cam's been playing for 10 years.
So I do not fault anybody, even players on my own team that started, for leaving. If someone's like, hey,
Sorry,
we
boy
give more.
Luke.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's probably going to go to Ole Miss, and that sucks.
Yeah.
And personally, I can be like, that sucks for me because I'm a Razorback fan, and I like Luke Haas, and he was almost a 5-star. He was like right on that edge, number 1 recruit at Oklahoma. I'd paid him money to do NIL stuff. But if the market is and the game is, every year you get to reassess your value, and you're not getting the value that you think you should, and you can get value in different ways. You can just love living in Fayetteville. You're like, your girlfriend's there, your family's there. Maybe you take a less. Sometimes people in the real world take a little less money to live somewhere they like.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid question, but do your credits transfer?
Dude, what do I know? I'm sure most do.
They have to.
You know what I mean? Like,
I would assume.
can I just go to UCF and all my stuff transfers over?
Probably.
To Stanford?
Probably, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so the Belichick thing's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool, and as in it's new. Like, it's fun to talk about. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I saw someone making a comparison. It was like when Nebraska was making a hire many years ago, there was this new young upstart from a G4, and his name was Urban Meyer, and they didn't choose him. Instead, they went with Callahan, who had won a Super Bowl, and now it looks like North Carolina's going to do the same thing with Belichick. And I'm like, Callahan and Belichick are not the same.
No.
They're just not the same. So the comparison is not even apples to oranges. It's apples to car tires.
Yeah.
So,
Very different.
yeah.
Very true.
So it's fun because it's something cool to talk about.
When does Kevin walk in with a UNC shirt?
Oh, good question.
Oh, God.
Well, he's got to be a Bama. Yeah, he's got a family that's
He's got
Bama,
a lot of
too.
decisions.
I know, man. Each day of the week, I'm going to have a different team on.
No. So let's talk about the parlay for a second. The 25 whistles parlay. We're going to do NFL this week.
You gonna touch that Cowboys game? I mean, I feel like.
Why don't you guys can jump in on this one.
Oh,
Okay, let's do it.
You can do one. Well, all three of us will do one. I'm looking at the whole slate here. By the way, if you want to take the 25 whistles parlay, check out DraftKings Sportsbook. New users use the code BobbySports when you download the app. I suck at betting NFL. Like, I feel confident any week I can go to college and go 55% if my life depended on it. I suck at betting NFL. I'll go first. Chiefs minus 4.5 at the Browns.
Solid.
It feels so solid that's probably stupid.
I know. And the Chiefs play every game tight.
So I'll go Chiefs minus 4.5 at the Browns. Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going to go our hometown team here. They're barely hanging on. Bengals are playing well, so Bengals minus 5 at Titans.
I thought you were gonna go Titans.
Heck no, dude.
Like, whoa.
No.
Trying to make a lot of smiley faces.
Okay. Edward.
All right, so we're just gonna wait till the end of the day. So we'll watch y'all's game, see if they clear, and then we will wait for the big one. Seattle, man, just always proves us wrong, and they're still plus 2.5. They're at home against the Packers, so I think we're going Seattle plus 2.5.
I like that one.
Taking a doggy dog.
Let's go, baby.
Again, take the 25 whistles parlay. DraftKings Sportsbook. New users use the code BobbySports, one word, when you download the app. Boom, there you go.